Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me today is the illustrious Ian Cameron from outside. Very exciting. Get to see that fresh Canadian air. Ian, how's it going?
Oh, it's a gorgeous day, Jose. I was saying before the show to you that I don't know. I felt like I was getting a little stuffy, claustrophobic, if you will, in the office space today. I've been in there for hours finishing up my NFL season win totals report that I do every year. But I said I got to get some fresh air. It's too nice of a day to be inside all day. So here I am with you outside, the great Canadian outdoors, if you will. But this is the time to be here, Jose. Summers in Canada are awesome. I mean, it gets hot and humid, but there are days like this when the temperatures are just perfect. So too nice to be inside to join you here on Say Hey Plays.
Beautiful, Ian. I love that. Way to get some sun in you. You need it, and all of us need it indeed. So I'm excited to talk to you. Excited about this show because I have finally broken the over 10-day stretch of not having a winning day. And I said the day before yesterday did not really count. It was just up some juice, whatever. Yesterday, we finally break through. Nice little 3-unit day, I believe it ended up being at the end of the day. Record still negative now, still in the losing units, but we're only down 1.6 units after just a catastrophe of 11 days. So I'm glad that we're in the position we're in now. Got some more invigoration and get some more life in me, and it's going to be a lot of fun here today. A long card, a full card. Ian, are you ready to break this down?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I am ready. There's some pitchers on this card that I was not 100% sure if I'd get a chance to fade some of these pitchers that are on today's card again, and they are. So this is actually a bit better card than I've seen the last few days. So I'm ready to get after it.
I wonder who Ian is talking about when he says that. That's very funny. All right, let's get into it. Say hey, please. 129. Say hey, plays 129 officially begins here with Philadelphia Phillies and the Cincinnati Reds here. I'll start here, Ian. I don't really have much on this game. I think the line movement in this game is very interesting to say the least. I mean, it was a minus 190 earlier today. Now we're getting a minus 178. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. I just go back and forth with it. TJ Zoik, which is a name that will always curse me in the English language. I'm ultimately passing on all of his starts at the end of the day. 6 earned runs against the Mets last time out. Kyle Gibson also not that convincing. So pass to start off this card. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, the first thought that comes to mind is Philly should be able to hit TJ Zoik pretty well. He hasn't exactly fared well since joining this Red starting rotation. And when you're talking about these losing teams like the Cincinnati Reds, and you're talking about guys that aren't even close to the upper part of that starting rotation on these bad teams, you've really, really got to think long and hard before you put your money behind them. And certainly that's kind of the case we've got here with Zoik right now, who, as you mentioned, that last start was pretty rough for him against the Mets. We'll see if he can rebound here. The Phillies offense, certainly during this great run, they've been hitting the ball quite well. Kyle Gibson's actually pitched pretty well lately for the Phillies. So, I did lean to the full game over. I feel I probably will still take the full game over because the Phillies can probably do a lot of the damage themselves. I think Cincinnati's capable, though, of scratching across a couple of runs in this game, but I'd probably feel more comfortable, Jose, splitting it up with the Phillies team total over as well, because I think at the end of the day, they're going to end up doing most of the damage here when it's all said and done. So for me, it would be a small plays only, but a little bit on the Phillies team total over, a little bit on the full game over.
Beautiful. A little over action there to start off our card. Let's go to the exact opposite end of the spectrum here. And we'll go game 2, Padres Marlins. I'm the under here. I'm on the first 5 under 4, I believe. Let me got it. Check it. Yeah, first 5 under 4 minus 105. Got it this morning with Jimmy. I'm betting with the bag. I just think ultimately at the end of the day, and shout out to Noli, who I believe is also on the full game under. Anytime the Miami Marlins are playing and they've got a decent to good pitcher on their side, it just seems like an under bet every single time. Yesterday we had Sandy Alcantara and Joe Musgrove. I took the first 5 under 3, the lowest number I took all year. It was a sweat. It was a hell of a sweat, but we got there 2-0, and after 5, it was a very satisfying win there. And it actually kind of probably inspired me to bet another first 5 under 3, which we'll talk about here shortly. But ultimately, like I said, I'm on the first 5 under here, under 4 -105. I think Edward Cabrera has been pitching phenomenally, and I don't think anyone can, or I don't think the Marlins can hit really anyone. So that's how a recipe for an under to me.
You know what? I have a small piece of the Marlins here. First 5 in full game split. Tiny bet, though. And I actually took the Marlins yesterday in the opener. How could you not with Sandy on the mound? He pitched very well again yet last night against the Padres. I actually don't really have a whole lot of confidence in the consistency from one start to the next in Sean Manaea for the San Diego Padres. He's been a little bit erratic at times. But again, you wheel back to the same old issue you have when you want to fade a pitcher when he's taking on the Miami Marlins is, can the Marlins even hit, against them? And that's always, of course, been their issue, is that just they have been to say they've been a miserable offensive team would probably be an understatement. And that's the issue. So anyone liking a first 5 in a full game under in this game, I certainly agree. I think that's probably a good way to go. As far as the side goes, though, I just hope maybe they can scratch 2, 3, 4 across, because I really like Cabrera. 2.05 ERA for the Marlins this year. He's got swing and miss stuff. Strikeout numbers are pretty good. He gets misses. He gets swings and misses at the plate when he is on the mound. So I think his stuff is quality. So when it's all said and done, I think Miami's got a chance to hang around in this game as well. So I agree with the first 5 full game underlook. And as far as the side goes, I'm not laying this price on the road with Manaea. I'm just not doing it, even with Miami's lack of proficiency at the plate. So I would lean Miami for something very small here, first 5 full game split.
I had the same feeling yesterday, and like I didn't get there with Miami Marlins first 5, obviously, and they got it done. So, in that instance, it'd lead me to say, like, oh, they got the runs against Musgrove, they can get it against Manaea. So definitely, I think Marlins first 5 would be my lean there if I had to pick a side. Real quick, G Martinez asking about Cabrera's reliability. I understand why you'd ask, but his last, I don't know, it's been 2 starts in the majors and I guess 3 now on the minors. Been domination, just domination. I talked about it earlier on Betting with the Bag. I won't go through all the stats again, but he went through all his minor league starts, giving up 1 in like 3 starts, basically, which was ridiculous. And then
hasn't given up a run in 2 starts since rejoining this Marlins rotation.
He's been in the month of
August. Yeah,
absolutely fire.
3 hits and shutout ball in 10.2 innings here for Cabrera against the Phillies and the Cubs in 2 starts. So, he's been there. He's been good. He's been solid. He's been getting swings and misses. And to me, there's still that fear Miami, this has that fear like we always have with Miami, where Cabrera pitches well and they lose 2-1 or something like that. It's very possible, but I'm willing to take a shot at the plus price. And as you said, Jose, people in the chat liking the under in this game, I certainly 100% concur.
All right, let's move it along. By the way, shout out to everyone in the chat. We will have a little more chat discussion here later, and then once we get a little bit more into the show, we'll talk about all those announcements from earlier in the day. Boston Red Sox versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll keep my analysis brief on this short. I'm going Pittsburgh Pirates money line plus 122. I think the Red Sox coming off that emotional victory. I don't know if it's emotional, whatever. Obviously, they had the day off, but after beating the Yankees for your first series against an AL East team, a big series there, they're getting some players back, which is always great. Kike Hernandez coming back here soon. But I took the Red Sox money line here. I don't trust them at all, really. I mean, this feels like another spot where they lose 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, like they lost 2 out of 3 to the Royals. So we will see how far this little hot streak takes them. But I'm on the Pirates first game here. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, I'm not laying a price with Boston. I'm just not. They're not ready to do that, even against Mitch Keller, even against Helen Keller, sometimes, as we like to refer to him as. But not even here against Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh, is obviously, it's not a pitcher I trust in Keller. He's been more of a bet against pitcher for me much of the season. But, when I'm talking about laying $1.45 with a Boston Red Sox team that's just, even Pivetta lately has kind of struggled a little bit, up and down. It's just a clear pass for me. I don't want Pittsburgh, but I don't want to lay this kind of number with Boston either.
Yeah, I agree with you. But when you're making big boy bets like Kyle Hitlian is, he's got 1350 on the Red Sox money line. You lay those prices, you roll right along. Shout out to you,
I wish Kyle luck with it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to you, Kyle. And he's got 1600 on the Cubs, which we will talk about here shortly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is a fascinating game just to see if this Red Sox team does keep the momentum going, and maybe they can put up a fight at the end of this season to play spoiler at the end of the day. Really, they probably won't make the playoffs, but make life harder on all the other teams around them, which ultimately I'd be okay with. And I think Mitch Keller, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I don't ever feel really comfortable backing him. So, and I also thought about a Pirates team to over 3.5, but I wrote it. I'm riding with it, and I'm thinking the Red Sox struggle here today offensively today as well. So I wouldn't hate an under in this game either. Chicago Cubs, Washington Nationals, as the aforementioned Kyle Henley and Big Boy bet there, trying to get $1,000 off the bookies. Shout out to you, Kyle. Justin Steele versus our old friend Patrick Corbin here. And Patrick Corbin activated off the COVID IL, I believe it was. Honestly, I think it was a phantom COVID IL. I think that was the Nationals being like, you know what, let's get him away from the team for a little bit. He's been absolutely horrific. We don't want to put him out there anymore, so let's COVID IL him and give him a little bit of a break. So I feel like that's exactly what they did here. And truthfully, I'm not going to fade him here just because I think this could be his best opportunity for a good start. Fresh off the COVID IL, against the Chicago Cubs, who this month are 27th against lefties, 52 weighted runs created plus. I think this is his best shot at putting up a good start. Do they end up winning? I don't know. I don't really think so because I still think he can give up 3 earned runs pretty easily. But I ultimately just didn't want to fade Corbin. I'll watch on the sideline as you guys take your money and hopefully win it against this bum. And next time when he comes out to pitch, I'll be right there with you if he struggles. So it'll be fun. Well, probably even if he does well, it'll make me even feel better about fading him next time. So nothing for me here.
So I heard some of this same bullshit about Yusei Kikuchi a few starts ago when they set him up for success and they took him out of the rotation and they worked on some mechanical adjustments with Yusei Kikuchi, and he's basically reverted right back into the same guy. I don't care what they've done with Patrick Corbin, whether they put him through yoga, whether they put him through some sort of seance, or whether they put him through I don't know what the hell they're doing, some kind of voodoo magic to try to fix this horrendous run that he's on. I don't care what they try to do to fix it. I need to see proof of him pitching well before I get off the fade Patrick Corbin train when it's all said and done. Now, you did bring up a good point. I mean, the Cubs against lefties are not as reliable, for sure, as many other teams in the major leagues. We know they've had trouble throughout the year against lefty pitching. Even in the last 10 games, just 2.93 runs per game, 224 average as a team against lefties. But boy, this is a bottom tier, bottom feeder lefty in the big leagues right now, who's been absolutely crushed in every start that he's made. 6 runs against the Phils, 4 against the Mets, 7 hits, 6 runs, 7 hits against the Dodgers, 5 runs, 8 hits against Arizona, 6 runs, 9 hits against Atlanta. I mean, it's just been one disaster after another for Patrick Corbin. Justin Steele, I'll tell you what, he's actually been pretty solid for the most part. 3 of his last 4 starts, just 2 runs or less allowed. I guess the one kind of rough outing he had was against San Francisco. He only got to the 4th inning, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. But really, he's been pretty good, Justin Steele, for the most part. And I remember these Nationals a year ago, 2 years ago, being one of those teams where when they faced a lefty, they mashed the baseball. Haven't necessarily been that way this year, but their numbers recently against lefties have been a little bit better. So that's the good sign. This is the game where I've got the most bets on one single game of this entire card. There's no game I have more bets on than this one. I have Cubs full game money line. I have Cubs team total over 4.5. I have full game over 8.5 in this game. I'm just going to rely on more struggles from Patrick Corbin, and this is one of those pitchers I mentioned pre-show. We're betting against him until proven otherwise. I don't care what they've done. I know they've pushed him back. I know he's got more days rest going into this start, yada, yada, yada. I need to see him pitch well before I stop fading him. Simple as that.
No, it makes a whole lot of sense, and really that's probably the wise play. I'm just sitting back and watching to see, because like I said, if he's going to pitch well, it will probably be here. Like I don't think he will at the end of the day, but I'll watch and I'll fade him next time as well. By the way, Kyle Henley said, "Fuck it, add 1 more K to that bet." So shout out to Kyle Henley making a big boy bet on the Chicago Cubs. Shout there.
I like him a lot tonight too. I like that full game over though. I think a lot as well. But that is a lot of trust in the Cubs against lefties. But this is where if push comes to shove, right? You could say Cubs against lefties don't hit, but you could say Corbin, a lefty against any kind of lineup, doesn't pitch. So pitch well, that is. So something's got to give.
It's a tough game. I'll say it. But I mean, easy answer: just take the Cubs. Take the Cubs, and do. And I mean, really, do you really want to put your money on Patrick Corbin here? It's Cubs or pass. Absolutely.
By the way, based on what Jose said, here's what you do. If you have not been fading Corbin up till tonight, you either don't or you keep the bet small. But if you've been like cashing in with overs and team total overs and the other side against Corbin for the last 7 or 8 starts where he's been absolutely horrendous, like I have, then you keep betting it. But tonight, you don't just jump on the train when, it's already left the tracks, so to speak. That's kind of what this feels like. So if you've been riding and fading Corbin start after start for the last month or two, keep doing it. But if you're just doing it for the first time tonight, then you either keep it a small bet or maybe even pass.
Yeah, I think perfectly put there. Shout out to the chat real quick. Stimmy OG. Stimmy, I'm sorry you got whatever you got, your burns. Some people were speculating that it was the clap, but I hope your burn gets better, my man, and those feet get shaved very soon. Shout out to Brian. Alex Gagnon taking the Padres. That'll be a fun bet for you. They're second against righties, so I mean they could go out there and smash them for sure. Catcher Cat, Whack Prescott, not applicable. Asking why they keep playing Corbin because of money and to eat innings. I think that is basically what it is there. And yes, 100% Corbin for MVP. Thank you, Cheshire Cat, for putting it. He's the gambling community's MVP. Him, and off the top of my head, Dallas Keuchel for sure. Those two guys are fighting it out for 1 and 2 for the MVP award this year for us.
I'm still hoping we get a Dallas Keuchel. Someone will be desperate enough. There'll be someone.
I think
he's
on the Rangers. I think he's on the Rangers. So fingers crossed. Let's hope he comes back into our lives here. Yeah. Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees. Next game up: Nestor Cortez, Jeffrey Springs, and boy, oh boy, does this Yankees team fucking stink. Ian, they stink so bad that I actually made a little wager yesterday, and we'll share it with everyone now. If the Yankees were to win the World Series this year, and I'll say this confidently, we can clip this. If the Yankees win the World Series this year, I'll sit down in front of a nice little tarp, $5 for 3 tomatoes. We'll give it all to charity. You can fucking throw tomatoes at me. No fucking problem. No fucking problem.
No fucking problem.
No fucking problem. Yankees do not win the World Series today. It's going to be a lot of fun for that bet. And I'm going to celebrate it because, like I mentioned earlier today, they came out with the times for the playoff games and such. So I've already marked on my calendar when the Yankees are going to lose. It's going to be a nice little celebration. They've been playing like shit for, I don't know, it's been extended like almost a week and a half now. I took them yesterday thinking they'd get back on track against the Rays. I mean, it was the right mindset, I guess, because I thought Garrett Cole shoved, but the offense obviously didn't show up. So it probably should have been an underlook for me here. Kind of feeling the same way here, but I just don't want to back the Yankees or trust their bats to do anything for me here. So a pass game. Jeffrey Springs is interesting. 2 earned runs at Milwaukee last time out and 2 runs, none of them earned at Detroit. So I find him to be an interesting pitcher, to say the least. But Nestor Cortez has been the best pitcher on this pitching staff all year. So I'm not going to fade him here.
I'm taking Tampa Bay. I am. Just like last night, I actually had a small play on Tampa Bay as well. It's just a ludicrous price for a Yankees team that's playing the way they are right now. And Cortez, Cortez 8-1 in his 9 home starts of the Yankees. So, they've done well winning with him at home, but I'm telling you what, Jeffrey Springs has pitched well enough that, like struggling lineup that he's facing tonight, the Yankees could scuffle once again. I mean, Springs has a sub-3 ERA overall and on the road this year. And the Rays have a pretty good record with him on the road this year once as well. A winning record of the Rays with Springs pitching away from the Trop. So I think when it's all said and done, I mean, it's just a price range where I think the Yankees don't belong in right now. And I said a couple weeks ago with Jimmy, either last week or 2 weeks ago, if you fade the Yankees every day post All-Star break, you're going to have to be profitable. You will. Mm-hmm. You're going to make money. This team has, you know what it is too? It's the dead dog days of summer. It's the middle of August. They are cruising to the AL East Championship.
Yep.
It's not easy to stimulate and motivate yourself to play your best every single day at this time of year when you've got such a comfortable lead. Now, I think part of it is they're an overrated baseball team, but I think part of it is a mental thing with them. It's a mental block where a lot of these games are just playing for exercise here in August and September, knowing they've already won the AL East. So, you're kind of seeing lethargic kind of play creeping into this team's game on a daily basis, and that's exactly what you've seen from the New York Yankees. So I'm taking Tampa Bay full game because I want the full game at my disposal with the deep bullpen that the Rays have with Kevin Cash, always doing a great job. Really getting the best out of that relief corps, doing a good job situationally when to bring in a reliever. He plays the matchup game in terms of the bullpen as good as any manager in baseball. So that's why I want the full game, not just the first 5. Cortez is one of the guys you would want on the mound if you're the Yankees to try to break out of this funk. But at this price range, no. Cashed with Tampa last night at the insane plus price, and I'll come right back with them tonight.
Man, you made a great case there. I definitely agree 100% the Yankees should not be minus 170 right now. And that alone, like I mentioned it yesterday, I believe it was. I forgot exactly what game it was, but I said when you're a high volume better when it comes to baseball, spots like this, you just kind of have to take the values on the Rays. We know the Yankees aren't as good as this line says. So at the end of the day, I've got to agree with you, Ian. So I'd lean towards the under and lean towards the Rays to give them like 60 relievers in this game and shut out the Yankees again, potentially. So we will see very much how this offense adapts. Very funny to watch the offense flail, especially in New York. Next game on our slate, the other AL East game. We've run through all three of these AL East matchup games, what they've got going on here. Kramer, Manoah. Now, Ian, you're a Blue Jays whisperer. You know this Blue Jays team well, obviously. Manoah has hit, I don't know if it's a wall or whatever, but he's been struggling as of late. He's not been that shutdown guy. He's hit obviously his career high in innings as well. Yep. So that's a concern. So and minus 215 is just like the same situation with the Yankees here. Like I feels like a little bit of a reputation thing with the bats. Springer, I think, is back in the lineup. He came back yesterday. Let me look on RotoWire. But ultimately, I said Baltimore are passing this game, and I was trying to decide, like, am I ballsy enough? Do I want to take Baltimore first 5 money line or some form of money line? Or do I just try to play safe and say Baltimore team total over 3.5? What do you think about this game, Ian?
I am on Baltimore again, and I had Baltimore last night. That was outrageous to me that Yusei Kikuchi was the price he was last night. It was just insane. And, of course, Baltimore is in that plus 150 range against the Blue Jays last night. Wire-to-wire winner. They got the early lead. Kikuchi always buries the Blue Jays in the early innings. He did it again last night. And then the Blue Jays offense. Look, Blue Jays fans are worried. They're concerned. They've now fallen to the third wild card spot in the American League. And keep in mind, I mean, they've got one of the wild card spots along with Seattle and with Tampa Bay. But you have to also remember that Minnesota and Baltimore are right behind them.
Yeah, I was about to say Baltimore's coming for them. Like this is ultimate motivation for Baltimore.
Yeah. So look, just like with New York in the last game we talked about, this is the guy you want on the mound if you're the Jays to get back on track. Alek Manoah, especially good numbers at Rogers Center this year, 2.48 ERA. There's no question. He's been very good, but you mentioned it, career innings limit. It's something we look for. It's something that actually Shane McClanahan's going through right now with Tampa Bay as well. He has pitched the most innings in his career, and he hasn't nearly been as good the last couple starts for as amazing a season as it's been overall for the AL Cy Young contender. So Manoah, same thing. I mean, he hasn't been nearly as sharp, not commanding his pitches nearly as much, and really he's leaving too much of his pitches over the plate too much. That's something I've noticed a lot more out of Manoah the last few starts. Now, Dean Kramer has regression written all over him, and we're starting to see signs of it, that the ERA was not sustainable, that he's going to actually regress to the mean a little bit, and we've seen signs of that going into this game tonight against the Jays. He's been roughed up a little bit, but I'm still willing to look. Do I like Manoah over Kramer as a pitcher? Of course, but you're talking about you're talking minus 215 with a Blue Jays team that can't hit a lick right now. The bullpen has kind of been spotty again. Manoah is not in the best form he had this year, and now you're paying a price every start with Manoah. The time to make money with Manoah, and I did quite a bit early in the season, was April and May. That was the time to back Alek Manoah. This is not the time. This is not the spot at minus 215 with a struggling team around him at the moment. So I would take Baltimore again. And again, if this is a spot where maybe you didn't take Baltimore last night, maybe you don't play Baltimore tonight, but I was on Baltimore last night at the plus number. I'm coming back to them tonight. And this is my baseball betting philosophy at this time of year. When the teams go ice cold, especially teams with pressure on them like the Jays, I bet against them until they find a way to get back on track. And conversely, Baltimore's as hot as any team going right now. And you're getting them at good prices. So it's a very simple concept for me. Keep it simple at this time of year. So I like Baltimore again at the plus price, and smaller lean toward the over just because of the 8.5. We've seen Manoah not pitch as well lately. And obviously I think Kramer take the over on his ERA currently. That is, his ERA will be higher when the season ends.
Well, Ian, I think that's a very convincing breakdown. I was on Orioles first 5 money line last night, and I'm going to take Orioles full game money line today, plus 175. I initially wrote down their first 5, and then I erased it. I was like full game because if Manoah does pitch well,
you want Baltimore's bullpen on your side. They've been very good, and even after they traded the closer away, Felix Bautista's come into that role, and he's been just shutting the door over and over again.
Yeah, and the Orioles this month, 8th against righties, 115 weighted runs created plus, while the Blue Jays, 17th, 95 weighted runs created plus. I think the Blue Jays will turn it back on, but this is Springer's second day off the IL. I knew the first game off the IL was going to be a good spot for us. I didn't think he was going to do much. And the second one, a little more concerning to get his feet under him, but I think it might take a little bit. So I'm on the Orioles full game money line plus 175 as well. Beautiful. Let's move it on here. By the way, this lighting is just lovely for you, Ian. You're glowing right now. You're looking great. The hair looks excellent. This is great. More outside shows.
More importantly, I feel more comfortable out here than in that stuffy office room that I use. So that's why
I do miss the tiger cat behind you. I will admit. I will admit that the tiger hat is a little bit lacking in this background. Garrett Hill versus Zach Plesac. I think this can be a pretty quick and swift breakdown. Zach Plesac, a pitcher that I've liked all year, really, and I think his 2-10 record is very deceiving. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just bad luck because we'll never forget that Zach Plesac, I think it was last year. It was the year of the no-hitter against him. Every time that Zach Plesac went on the bump, the other pitcher would almost throw a no-hitter. I think it was like 2 or 3 ended up getting thrown against him, which is hilarious. But I think he's a better pitcher than this. The minus 220 price obviously reflects how bad the Tigers are against righties this month. 56 weighted runs created plus, dead last. Cleveland's acceptable, even about, or I say average. 100 is average, and that's what they have this month, and they're 13th in the majors right now. So a pass game here, probably Cleveland rolls, but I don't want to put my money on it.
Yeah, Cleveland first 5 full game run line split is the way I would go. I would lean that way. Don't love it enough to bet it, but certainly lean that way. I mean, I don't really think Garrett Hill is someone that I trust at a 4.66 ERA this year. He's only pitched 5 innings in pretty much every start, given up 3+ runs in 5 of his last 6 starts as well. So not exactly been a shutdown type of pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. And also you keep in mind, too, you've got this Cleveland team coming off a defeat last night at the hands of the Tigers, 7-5. So I'd expect them to pitch a little bit better. Plesac can be frustrating. There's no question. He hasn't had a great season by any stretch. Still at a 4.32 overall ERA, but he's pitched his best here in Cleveland. He's got a 3.49 ERA, so he's been better on his home ballpark. His numbers against Detroit, too, have been pretty good. 2 of the 3 starts against them this year, he shut down the Tigers. He had one kind of a rougher start in July against them, but the other 2 were very good. So not a game I bet, but Cleveland first 5 full game run line split would be the lean for me.
Beautiful. Let's keep it moving on to a better game here. The 2 best teams in the National League, I believe. Mets, Braves. Mets take a shit kicking yesterday, and the Braves really made a statement there. Little Spencer Strider action as well. So shout out to him for having a good start. Taijuan Walker versus Charlie Morton. I believe, because I saw some free talk, and I'm just going to assume that's for another day and not today. I didn't have anything on this game. I think these teams are very good, and I think these teams, perhaps is a case of just whoever's home has the real advantage. It's just one of those cases, because if you flip this matchup and put it in Citi Field, I could easily see the line being this same exact thing on the other side. So I'm passing here. Fourth and fifth best offenses against righties. Maybe an overlook. Taijuan Walker, his start against the Braves the other day was horrible, and I think it'll be – I hope. As an athlete, I hope that he comes out there and has some fire under his ass trying to get back at them. So I think I would lean Mets at a plus price, but ultimately I don't want to play this game because I think these two teams are really, really good. So over Mets, pass.
Here's another game. I got a lot of going on with it. I have the smallest bet I've got is Atlanta money line in this game, and I can't believe I'm laying a price with Morton, but I'm doing that because this is just a fade of Walker for me. And I've mentioned now multiple times that he started. Walker is a bet against pitcher for me in the second half of the season, pitching a lot of innings. And if you look at his last two starts in July before that, just brutal start he had against Atlanta back on August 5th. Look at the last two Walker starts in July. 3 runs, 7 hits in both outings. Yeah, it looks good on paper, but that guy was flirting with bases loaded and 2 runners on base every inning. I mean, that could have been a blow up for him in those 2 starts. And it was a harbinger of things to come. He got crushed by Atlanta. He did pitch better last time against Cincinnati, but the lineup was a little depleted that day when he faced the Reds. Atlanta has really crushed him in the last 2 times they faced Walker. How about this? Walker has allowed 13 runs in his last 6 innings pitched against Atlanta. That is not good. So I think he's going to have some trouble here tonight against the Braves once again. But I do think the Braves. The Braves, though, they'll hit, and the Mets will hit Morton though as well, because Morton is not exactly someone that you trust to shut down a lineup completely. I mean, he did that against Philly. I'm still wondering how he shut them out in 6.2 innings, but his other 2 starts were not good. 5 runs, 6 hits against Philly than the first time he faced them, and then Boston last time, 5 runs, 6 hits in 6 innings, and Atlanta hung on for a 9-7 win. So that's the problem with Morton. He's given up a lot of hard hit contact. That's an issue. When he gets hit hard. I like the over. That's the strongest opinion I've got on this game. I think it's the best bet on this game. Like I said, I like Atlanta a little bit from a side perspective, but I think the best bet is over 8.5 minus 120. It's one of the better totals I like. This total and the Cubs Nats over are probably 2 of the overs I like the most on this card. But I think you'll get to 9 runs combined minimum, and both of these teams hitting at the moment. That certainly helps as well.
Beautiful. I like the look. As well. I'll write it down for sure because I don't think I'm going to move on it. It'll definitely end up being a lane for me, but I do like the play a lot as well. It just seems like both these offenses can always put up runs in a hurry, and I'll tell you this. Okay, so here's our little mid-show break of baseball here to talk about all the random other things here. So first of all, shout out to everyone watching. And we appreciate you guys. Hit the like, drop a comment with your plays. That's what I always try to tell people. Hit the comment, scroll down, comment your plays. It's an easy way for me to find them and keep track of them. I always like keeping track of everyone's action just to see how they're doing. And like when I watch a game, I want to think, oh, Alex Gagnon's on Padres' first 5 money line. He's winning today or something like that. So that's just an example of that. And on top of that, we did have a big announcement for Pub Sports Radio. I'll play this video so I don't have to explain it again. But the Cappers contest is officially live on Pub Sports Radio.
We at Pub Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, you'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a Cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to host the victors and roast the losers. The Cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.
Yes, the Cappers contest is officially live on the website right now. $100 entry fee. You guys can go compete with us this year in the NFL. 5 picks a week against the spread. Going to be a lot of fun. And like we mentioned in that video as well, the Survivor pool going to be a whole lot of fun this year.
Look at that motley crew right there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Got a crew of people. I believe all these guys are going to be in the pool, so it'll be a lot of fun. Beat us, have bragging rights. It'll be a good time throughout. On the Pub Sports Radio website right now, just www.pubsportsradio.com as well. So it'll be a whole lot of fun. Bobano, have you done one of these capping contests before? One of the.
I got to work on my contest skills, and that's why I don't enter in many in the past. Because I'm a high volume bettor, and the reason I'm a high volume bettor is because I hate trimming the card down to 3 or 4 plays, and I struggle with it a lot of the time. So that's, but if you're going to be in a contest, you got to get better at it. Simple as that, because that's what a contest is. They don't let you submit 20 picks for a week. You got to trim it down to 4, 5, or 6. So no, I'm happy to do it because it's going to be fun. You get to be involved with a lot of our Pub Sports Radio viewers and listeners, and of course, show hosts and show contributors. They'll be all involved in it too. Connor Mack, Jimmy the Bag, Clint, Peter Loshak, go on down the list. Dabby, everybody that does content here on Pub Sports Radio and host shows, myself included, will be in the contest. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The Smack Talk will be fun. And more than anything, it's just it's a great event in terms of camaraderie amongst our community, and that's what makes it good too.
Yes, indeed. So shout out to everyone joining us. I put the Pub Sports Radio link in the comments just now. So go hit it and you guys can sign up from there. It's a whole lot of fun and I cannot wait. All right, let's get back to the baseball here. Kansas City Royals versus the Minnesota Twins. What an interesting pitching matchup in 2022. Zach Greinke versus Sonny Gray. I did not think we'd see this matchup. If you told 10-year-old Jose that both these pitchers would still be pitching really well in the 2022, I probably wouldn't have believed you. Both pitchers are, I don't know, they're fascinating to me because we obviously know Zach Greinke's home road split dichotomy and Sonny Gray just being a weird pitcher. I've seen a lot of cappers and I've seen money going towards the Kansas City Royals. Do I want to trust them? No. I thought this was a pretty easy pass at the end of the day. I think that these soft-tossing lefties or the soft-tossing righties, or soft tossers in general, I should say, can get hit by the Minnesota Twins. I think it might be just a little bit of a vividness bias of remembering the Minnesota Twins take Rich Hill deep several times early in the morning during the Marathon Monday for the Red Sox. Maybe that's it, but ultimately I do not want to play on this game. Real quick before I give it to you, Ian, the cutoff for the contest Trans-Canada is the Saturday of week 1 of the NFL season. So the picks are all due by Saturday. The spreads lock on Wednesday. So you guys have until Wednesday to Saturday to make your picks. Submit them on pubsportsradio.com. Once they're submitted, they're locked. You cannot change them. Let's emphasize that. Once they're locked and submitted, you cannot change them. So watch the shows and get all your picks as always. But the first Saturday of that NFL week is when it'll cut off. So thanks for asking, Trance. Now, Ian, what do you have on this game?
This is a split for me. Twins team total over, full game over. So Twins team total over 4.5 even money, over 8 full game. Gray has good numbers, so that's the concern, especially at home. Sunny, yesterday my life was filled with rain. He's pitched well this year. We'll give him credit for that.
Maybe you should sing a little louder so maybe your neighbors could hear you. I'd like that. They'll just peek over like in Home Improvement or whatever.
No, see, if I start singing,
be the nosy neighbor. I'd like to see that.
You see, that was the Home Improvement sound. There you go. Remember that show from back in the day. But yeah, I mean, when you look at it here, he's pitched well to Sonny Gray, but you also look, he's labored in a couple of these starts. And I'll give the Royals credit. My cousin Vinny, this guy is just rolling right now at the plate for the Kansas City Royals.
That's what the Red Sox announcers have called him too, by the way. They just keep calling him my cousin Vinny. That's the only thing they call him, and it's hilarious. Well, it's not hilarious. It is entertaining, though.
It's entertaining. But yeah, Vinny Pasquantino has been very impressive, and they got him in the cleanup spot now, hitting 4th in this lineup, and why not? He's been really good. So I think the Royals can again, we're not asking the Royals to do a ton of damage, but can they get 3 or 4? I think they can against the Twins. I like the way their lineup's hitting right now, top to bottom. And I think the Twins can get to Greinke. His ERA is over 7. By the way, Greinke starts on the road. How about 8-1 to the over this year in Greinke's 9 road starts? So it's been one over after another for him away from Kauffman Stadium. Twins got to him and hit him around pretty good the last time he faced Minnesota. So for me, this is going to be a split bet. I think Twins will do more of the damage. Team total over 4.5 Minnesota and full game over 8.
Yep. I mean, I'm in the same spot there, right there with you. So I will keep it moving here. I'm not going to make it official, but I also do like the Twinkies as well. Let's move on to this game because this game's fascinating to me. Cardinals, Rockies coming to St. Louis here. So that makes the Rockies, I don't know, more susceptible, whatever. Just makes them worse, I guess, at the end of the day. Ian, I want to hear your opinion on this because we know what the Cardinals do against lefties. It's been, I think, about 2 years of this, basically, of just them just smashing lefties left and right. I think Paul Goldschmidt, is legitimately has the highest OPS against lefties of all time, which is crazy, one of those weird, nutty stats. So shout out to Paul Goldschmidt. But the obvious play for me here was just St. Louis Cardinals team total over 4.5 minus 105. Maybe that's simplifying it a little bit too much. I'm not sure. Kyle Freeland, just not a guy that I trust in. His pace against the Cardinals does not pitch well. And if I get 5 innings of Kyle Freeland, I'll trust the Cardinals offense to get to the bullpen too. So 4.5 minus 105 was a good look for me. And I think I'm going to make that official. What about you, Ian?
This one, I have a small play on the full game over. A 7.5 is what I got. It's up to 8 now. I think it's moved to 8 in a lot of books. I got 7.5 minus 120 over full game because I think the Rockies will do a little bit of damage against Quintana with that proficiency against lefties. I know Quintana, obviously, the reason the Cardinals brought him here is because they think he can help the rotation. He's had obviously his best season he's ever had. But I think the Rockies can still do a little bit of damage against Quintana tonight and the Cardinals. But you're right. I mean, Freeland has been dominated by this Cardinals lineup. He has not pitched well against St. Louis in the past. And it's a Cardinals lineup that when you look at how they've hit the last several games, they've been in good form. I mean, they put up the 12 spot against the Yankees. They scored 5, 9, and 6, 3 games in Colorado against Milwaukee. They scored 6 in the last game of that series. So, this lineup's been in pretty good form for the most part overall. Total was reasonable. I thought 7.5. Actually, it looked a little bit low to me. So we're going to go over 7.5. It's up to 8. Still go with it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I really think there could be one of those days where the Cardinals get that 8 by themselves. So anything you get from the Rockies is kind of just a bonus at the end of the day. Mr. MDR has a question for us, Ian, real quick. He said, I've seen Ian a couple times take the first 3 or first 5 tie. Curious why those aren't a more popular play, even matchups, even in the matchup, considering they're always a plus 250, plus 350 type ranges. I don't have them, I think, on Bovada. Maybe I haven't looked hard enough, but my guess would be
that would be the 3-way money line. The books that offer that for the first 5 innings, that's where you'll find that tie option after the first 5.
Oh, okay, there you go. And by the way, Saturated, a real quick answer to your lines question. The lines lock on Wednesday. You have to submit the picks by latest on Saturday at night. I think it's 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern. But you can submit your picks earlier than that. So say if you like that Thursday night football game, you can lock in your plays, but you have to lock in all of your plays. So it definitely makes betting on that Thursday night football game a little more difficult for sure. But that's just how the fucking cookie crumbles, I guess, at the end of the day. And Thursday night footballs are kind of gross anyway. So, but yeah, I think I don't have it. And I think that's why I'm not 100% sure. And I think that's interesting. And yes, Cheshire Cat, for right now, it is only football, but we might be cooking up something for the postseason in baseball for sure. I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, beautiful. Ian, did you answer Mr. MDR's question? I'm sorry, I was caught up in trying to answer Saturday.
No, it's good. It is good value. It is. It's just again, I would need 2 pretty reliable, steady pitchers to take the tie. There's a lot of volatility in a lot of these games where I do like a first 5. It's because I think one starting pitcher has a massive edge over the other. So if I think that, why would I bet the tie? You know what I mean? So to me, it's got to be a matchup where, you got two aces. That's where I like it. You got two pretty good pitchers on the mound, two comparable teams, whether it's offense or whether it's pitching. And so for that reason, that's probably when I'd look at the tie at the plus price. But it would have to be a evenly matched, type of game, not so much a mismatch in terms of the starting pitching. So, and unfortunately, when it comes to first 5 inning bets, Jose, most of the time when I'm betting them, I think there's a pitching edge and a pitching mismatch.
No, makes sense. Makes sense. It's kind of hard to bet the draw, especially like in soccer too. I always struggle to bet it as well. I always just think, there's one team that's better than the other. So stuff like that, I understand it completely. Let's move on to this is a very fascinating game because I thought this was a game. I was like, I don't want to talk about this game at all. This will take like 2 seconds. And then you see the line movement. It was a minus 115, minus 105 earlier today. I should say this morning during betting with the bag. Now it's a minus 130 for the Texas Rangers here. Kohei Orihara, who is just dangerously close to being my favorite relief pitcher of all time, Koji Uehara. Shout out to the Red Sox. Truthfully, I didn't cap him because he was not listed yesterday. I don't want to back him in really any traditional sense. He's a scary pitcher to back. But if you just look righty-lefty matchup against these guys, the A's, I should say, against righties, 24th, 86 weighted runs created plus. Against lefties, the Rangers are 7th, 114 weighted runs created plus. Is it as simple as Texas team total over 4 minus 110, Ian? Is that just a no-brainer play right there?
Yeah, it could be, but I'm staying off this game overall. I will say this: Texas, of course, they fired the manager, Chris Woodward, and I didn't think it was going to make a difference, but they beat Oakland 2-1. I will give them this: they're playing a little bit better. They've won 3 in a row. They took 2 or 3 from a very good Seattle team with everything to play for right now. I thought they were competitive, even in a couple of the losses against Houston last week. So, there's still some signs of flickering glimmers of life. And to this Texas team, even though they're 11 games below 500, Oakland's miserable. They've lost 9 in a row. They're back to not hitting again. So I'd actually lean Texas, but I'll be damned if I know what we're going to get from Kohei Arihara, who had a 4.8 ERA in Round Rock this year in AAA, which isn't exactly bet-on type of stats right there. And, of course, 6.64 career ERA with Texas, which, again, not exactly bet-on statistics in terms of his pitching track record. So, easy pass. I had the slightest of leans to Texas, but I have no interest laying a price with this guy on the mound.
I don't hate it there, Ian. I don't hate your analysis. Shout out to Johnny Gunn saying this is a first 5 under spot for him. I'm going to keep that Texas team total over 4 marked down on my card here, and we will see how the card progresses for me. I like it a lot. That line movement make me a little more comfortable, I guess. But I often say fuck the line movement. So, it's just those conflicting factors, obviously. Houston Astros, Chicago White Sox, and potentially what is the game of the day. You could argue and say that these are the 2 AL Cy Young leaders right now in Dylan Cease and Justin Verlander. I kind of mentioned this game off the top, and I know a lot of people might not have been here from the very beginning, but I took the first 5 under Miami Marlins and Padres yesterday. I actually took it today as well, but I took it yesterday under 3, and it was a fucking sweat, but it cashed. And I think I'm just going to go right back to that well here today. First 5 under 3 here. Let me double check and I see what price I got on that. Is first 5 under 3 at minus 105. Astros lineup has not been hitting well this last month. Against righties are 27th, 84 weighted runs created plus. Will that change? Obviously, yeah, I think it will. Sometimes, the reverse of what happens to DeGrom can happen with pitchers as well. The Astros could rally together with JV on the bump and get some offense going. You could easily see something like that happening. But Dylan Cease has been a stud in his own right as well. Really, the matchup that concerns me more than the Astros versus Cease is Verlander versus the White Sox, which I did not expect to say. 9th of the White Sox against righties, 112 rated runs created plus this month. Verlander has been phenomenal, obviously. He's coming off a 6 innings, 5-hit, 3-earned run performance against the Rangers. Concerning, maybe. I saw the career numbers against the White Sox for Verlander. I took them, I kind of threw them out because so long ago. And really, Sharpie is ringing in my head here when I say this. First time when a lineup seeing Justin Verlander is a fucking battle for them. And ultimately, I'll trust Justin Verlander. So first 5 under 3 here at minus 105 for me.
Yeah, I have a small bet on the White Sox here. Just a home underdog. Game means more to them. It's more important for them to pick up wins right now than Houston. And they crushed Verlander, believe it or not, earlier this season when they faced JV. I mean, just smashed him. 7 runs, 9 hits, 3.2 innings, 7-0 White Sox win in the Juice Box, Minute Maid Park back in June. Now, the one fear is, Verlander remembers a bad start like that against a particular team. He'll want redemption, but I mean, Dylan Cease has just been bet on for me all the way, and he just continuously 1 run or 2 runs allowed max, and he's barely given up 3 hits in a game. I mean, that is how good Dylan Cease has been. And Chicago already won the first game last night in this series. They're a home underdog. They're battling for the playoff lives for a wild card spot, and of course the division, which is still there. They're right behind Minnesota and Cleveland. I thought you could do worse than take them as a home underdog. And with all due respect to Verlander, Cease is his equal right now. So toss-up game, but a little bit more meaningful game to the White Sox. So small piece of Chicago here.
I need to stop the show and get some somber breaking news. Unfortunately, I'm not even going to hit the drop because the drop is too upbeat. But we've lost a staple in the MLB gambling community. Unfortunately, Paul Blackburn out for the rest of the year. He's going to go see a finger specialist. So light a candle, say your prayers, because the king of the first 5 is no longer.
That's a shame. Now, he wasn't pitching nearly as well lately, but I mean, in April and May, this guy was just one of the shockingly one of the better pitchers for the first 2 months of the season, and just cashing left and right, especially in the first 5 innings with him. And I was one of those people on it a bunch of times.
I mean, yeah, we were talking about MVPs jokingly, with what's his name, with fucking Patrick Corbin and Keuchel. A true MVP on the other side of it could be Paul Blackburn and what he's done for the Oakland A's, first 5s, all for all of us. So shout out to Paul for being just an overall great human being and easy to bet on this year. So we thank you for your service, Paul. We'll talk about another game, which I actually found this game pretty easy to bet on. After, I listened to Betting with the Bag, obviously, I'm producing it every day. And this just has trap written all over it. Like, I have zero desire in betting the Dodgers here. It felt like we had 2 traps.
It feels like this game, and Milwaukee in particular, is on Razor Sharp's betting card tonight.
Oh, yes.
That's what it feels like.
Gambler's first glance for sure. Like, I don't know what it is, but the last 2 days, like I said, yesterday was 2 traps. It was the Mets at a pretty high plus money price. Everyone was like, we got to take the Mets. We got to take the Mets. Get hammered. I was like, all right, whatever. And then the second one was the White Sox-Astros game yesterday. I took White Sox first 5 thinking that White Sox would be competitive in that game. I lose the first 5. Of course, full game hits. And I'm just like, it just feels like another one of those spots. You put the Dodgers at plus money, watch the money roll in. Everyone bets the Dodgers. But I trust Brandon Woodruff at home. It's a big start. Obviously, he's given up 3 runs. 3 of them earned against Tampa Bay last time out, and then 3 runs, and then 2 of them earned against Pittsburgh. But I'll take my chances here. I'll take my chances with Brandon Woodruff in a big game at home, and Pepio. And again, this is another fucking English language moment here. Pepio, whose name I think is Peptot every time I see him.
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, I just can't get behind backing him. Though he's been great in the minor leagues this year, I will not back him here today. So I am going to take the Milwaukee Brewers, but I'm going to take them in the Say Hey parlay as a little spoiler. So that will be my leg. We'll talk about the full parlay later, but I'm going to be taking the Milwaukee Brewers in it. So, Ian, what about you? What do you think about this game?
If this line gets any higher, and I don't know if it will, I don't know if I want to take it yet, but if it gets any higher, I've got a piece of the Dodgers has to be made for me at some point. Although I'm not the biggest Pepio fan. I mean, 4 runs, 5 hits in his last start against the Twins in 4.1 innings. He's not been great necessarily. 3.92 is not terrible. It's actually been better on the road, 1.23 ERA. Woodruff's been solid, 3.52 ERA, 2.38 at Miller Park, 6-1 the Brewers in his 7 home starts at Miller Park. Big line move toward Milwaukee. I get it. But, I mean, the Dodgers won the first game of this series. And I find the Dodgers, they've got this propensity to lose some games once in a while against some bad teams, like they lose to Kansas City on Sunday.
Yep.
But I find when they play quality competition, they're more riled up and locked in and geared up to play teams like Milwaukee that are in, of course, playoff contention like this. I find you get the Dodgers best against some of the better teams. So at this price, it's Dodgers or nothing for me. There's no way I would take Milwaukee, but I'm probably going to pass. If this line creeps up any higher, though, I've got to take something on the Dodgers because I still don't buy them as underdogs to anybody.
You know, it's funny. Line has moved since I made the graphics too. Dodgers at -105 now. Brewers are at -115. So the line's moving just kind of
Definitely not taking the Dodgers. I mean, I need a plus price, but still value, in my opinion, on the Dodgers.
I really think that this is just the public smashing and hammering the Brewers right now. Or sorry, the Dodgers. I think it's really just them seeing that plus money and saying the best team in baseball. It feels like this is a trap. And I'm not going to take the Dodgers here. And truthfully, I mentioned that the Brewers are going to be in the parlay. Full game now is at a good range where I could take the Brewers and feel okay about it. So I'm going to take the Brewers at -115. And shout out to Jay Peasy, by the way. This is good handicapping. He got the Dodgers at +115. So if you get the Dodgers at that price, yeah, that's awesome. And especially with the line movement, I'm sure you're feeling good. And BJ, another thing you're saying here, maybe I'm getting sucked in. I don't know. We'll find out here today for sure. But I'm kind of doubling up here. Taking them full game, -115. And then for the Say Hey parlay, it'll take the first 5 money line at -135. So we'll talk about the parlay when we get to the end of the show. But Brewers full game -115 on my card officially. So fun game. Fun game in the offing coming soon. Let's talk we got 2 more games real quick, I should say. Mariners, Angels, battle of 2 lefties. I'm ultimately really not interested in this game at all. And I can say that about both of these games. That Dodgers, Milwaukee Brewers will be the crown jewel of the West Coast slate here, I guess. But Jose Suarez versus Robbie Ray is semi-interesting, I guess, with 2 good lefties. If I had to take it, I guess it's the Mariners, but Jose Suarez had been sneaky good this year. He had a good appearance against the Mariners, but I distinctly remember that appearance because that was the game that the Mariners and Angels got into that big fight, and he came in right after the fight, and I was like, there's just no way that any of these Mariners batters are going to hit him right now because they're completely off their mental game. They're just thinking about the fight and what the fuck just happened. So I truly think that the Mariners go out there and win, but I'm not going to put my money on it.
Yeah, maybe a first 5 full game under split here. I'd consider that because, look, Ray had a little stumble there a couple of starts ago where he got roughed up a little bit, but he's really bounced back. The last 2 starts have been good against the Angels and the Yankees, 3 runs in his last 13.1 innings. And when you look at him against the Angels this year, Jose, he's dominated them in 2 starts, 2 runs allowed in 14 innings against the Angels this year. How about 3 walks, 20 strikeouts this year in those 2 starts against the Angels? So he's absolutely owned the Angels this year. But I'm at the point now where I'm ready to give Suarez a little credit. I've not been a big fan of this guy, this lefty from the Angels, but can't argue with 3 starts now where he's given up just a single run. And how about not a single earned run?
Yep.
The only run he allowed in his last 3 starts was unearned against Oakland. You know, he shut out Kansas City, 5.1 innings. Shut out Oakland in terms of earned runs, 5 innings. And then, of course, 2 hits shutout against Oakland in the last start. Now, granted, 2 of those against Oakland. You have to take it with a grain of salt.
And Kansas City is not very good either.
Kansas City, not a good lineup. But Seattle's going to be a big test. He did pitch well against Seattle back June 18th. Again, the pitch count got up, 95 pitches, 4.1 innings, but 4 hits shutout still. Kept the Mariners lineup in check. He faced them in October last year, gave up a run in that game. He still had more good than bad starts, Suarez, in his career against the Mariners. So this would be one where, again, from a side perspective, I could only take Seattle. They're the better team. They've got a lot at stake. They won the last game. Their bullpen's better than the Angels, but not at this price. I think the best way to go is a first 5 under and a full game under.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like Weinstein's under 7.5 here for sure. And I think that will, I might end up making my card really, because it makes a whole lot of sense to me. If you really think that Jose Suarez is going to do it again here, it just seems like an obvious under spot. But I don't know. I don't know. And shout out to Turnsy joining us. We're talking traps now. I mentioned that might be a trap.
We're a bunch of Admiral Akbars from Star Wars. It's a trap.
It's
a trap.
It's the whole time. That's what the gambling is at the end of the day. We're just trying to avoid these traps and trying to avoid this being like my guy Admiral Akbar. So I hope he is enjoying his fried calamari life somewhere out there in the galaxy. Last game on our slate, another just an easy pass game for me because this one also had "It's a trap" written all over it. Kelly at plus money here versus Jacob Junis. I've said all year that Giants pitchers in their first year with the squad always pitch better, and I kind of don't want to fade him. And Junis might have been the exception for that role. He's been there, they signed him, and he struggled, but they see something in him. They see something in him to make me at least a little hesitant. A 2 1/3 innings pitch last time out versus the Padres, 6 earned runs, not good. Against the Dodgers, a 3 2/3, 3 earned runs. That's okay, but still not good at all. But I don't know. Merrill Kelly kind of scares me. I'll be honest. Merrill Kelly's kind of scares me. I don't want to back him here. So the side is an easy pick if I'm having to pick one. It is the Diamondbacks, but I could easily see the Giants offense coming alive here. Both these teams are 10th and 11th against righties, too. So it'll be an interesting game to say the least. If you watch these teams and if you like them. So a pass game for me, maybe a lean towards the over too, but nothing for me.
Ain't a pass game for me. I like Arizona here at the small plus price. I'll take Merrill Kelly 10 days out of 10, 7 days out of 7, I should say, against Jacob Junis. I've been waiting patiently for Jacob Junis to finally have a downfall and finally have a rough start because I've never believed in him being a 3.78 ERA type of pitcher. And of course, that last start was that rough start. 6 runs, 7 hits, 2.1 innings, just absolutely brutalized by the San Diego Padres in his last start. I think he's going to be more of a bet against pitcher. Regression train is going to hit this guy. I've got nothing really bad to say about Merrill Kelly. He's been ultra consistent. You can't really argue, Jose, with last 8 starts, he hasn't given up more than 3 runs. He has kept his team in every single game that he has pitched. And the Diamondbacks don't have a bad record. Like their overall record is not good, obviously, this year at 53 and 62, 9 games below 500. But look at their record with Kelly on the mound. They've actually won a lot of games this year with Merrill Kelly, 12 and 11. Arizona has a winning record with Merrill Kelly on the mound. On the road, in his 10 road starts, Arizona's 7 and 3 in Merrill Kelly's 10 road starts. He has a 2.79 road ERA as well. So this is an Arizona first 5 and full game split for me at the plus price. I'm all about fade Junis, and anybody that's watched me with Jimmy this year, with you on this show, knows that I like Merrill Kelly and knows that I've bet on him quite a bit. Hopefully we can add another to the win column tonight.
All right, beautiful. Appreciate the analysis, Ian. It's a lovely time talking to you as always, and of course, I got to enjoy the lovely views and sounds.
I forgot one thing too about
please.
Kelly. Pitched a gem against the Giants on July 25th. 3-hit shutout ball in 8 innings, 7-0 win for Arizona. So brings that again. Arizona's live.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I'm not moving on it, but I would roll right there with you. So shout out to you, my man. All right, so let's officially wrap up the show. Let's get our say hey plays in here, and then the say hey parlay, obviously. I am making one small tweak. I'm not going to double up on the Brewers. I'm just going to take the Brewers first 5 money line in the parlay here, and I'm going to rest on my laurels a little bit. Getting a little eager, getting a little greedy. I can feel myself after that winning day yesterday. So only going to move on the Brewers in that parlay. But the official plays here. San Diego, Miami, first 5 under 4, minus 105. Pittsburgh money line, plus 122. The St. Louis team total over 4.5 at minus 105. First 5 under 3 in the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago White Sox and the Houston Astros game. Texas team total over 4, minus 110. I am officially moving on that one. I am going to add the Seattle Los Angeles Angels under 7.5, minus 105. Shout out to you, Ian, and Wine Time Sports for getting me on that. And Baltimore money line plus 175 as well. And we will talk say hey parlay here in a second. Ian, what are you on today officially?
Officially here on the show today, I've got lots of stuff as I normally do. Let's just take a look. I'll try to actually pare it down to some of my bigger bets because, I mentioned that I'm on a lot of bets small. Like the White Sox is a very small bet. Dodgers, if I get on it, would be a very small bet. Here's the ones that I've got the most on. We'll stick with that. Cubs money line -152. Cubs team total over 4.5. And Cubs Nationals over 8.5 -110. Atlanta New York Mets over 8.5 -120. Very small on Atlanta money line. Colorado St. Louis over 7.5 -120. Arizona first 5 full game money line split. Tampa Bay full game money line +152. Baltimore +185 full game money line and small on over 8.5 -120 there. Kansas City, Minnesota team total over 4.5 even money and over 8 +100 with the Royals and the Twins. White Sox, like I said, small at +118. Lean to the under in the Seattle Angels, and that's it.
Beautiful. All right, say hey parlay time now because people love parlays. People love parlays, and the say hey parlay hot. One out of the last one. So shout out to Nick for giving me that winner in the Baltimore Rays game, the over. We took the Philly money line. Thankfully, I didn't take the run line like I almost did. We took the money line. That was a clutch save by me, I guess. But today we're going to move on and this new parlay. I am adding the Milwaukee Brewers first 5 money line here at -135, I believe. Let me double check. It's actually -145 now. So even more money coming out of those Milwaukee Brewers first 5 there. It makes a lot of sense to me. Ian, what is your addition to the Say Hey Parlay today?
Boy, that's a tough one between the two overs I like. Let's go Mets Braves over 8.5. Let's go with that.
Mets Braves over 8.5. Where are you? That is a -120 for me over 8.5. Both of them together a +210 respectively. So thank you very much, Ian, for giving me that parlay piece, the over 8.5 here, as I try to write it down. But it's going to be a fun time indeed. Like I said, we hit the one yesterday. Shout out to Nick. It's a little bit of shout out to Saturated too, because that was his birthday parlay. But I'm sorry, Saturated. I was gonna say I'm sorry. I know that you bet it right as we were hashing it out. So you gotta stick around, wait till the very end of the show. Because sometimes the bets will change, like my Brewers bet there. I have to sit here and ruminate on it a little bit. But I love you, Saturated, and I appreciate you watching. And happy belated birthday, of course.
Yeah, happy birthday, Saturated. Nice.
All right, so yes, that completes the show. It's gonna be a fun card to say the least. Ian, when is the next time people can find you at?
Well, we've just got the again, we're rolling out the football season schedule for Pub Sports Radio, but I will be part of that. In fact, next Monday we will have our season premiere, season 2. This is a show that is returning to the network, hitting the books next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Connor Mack and we will be back. If you remember last football season, we did it. We looked at primarily the weeknight games, Thursday games, Wednesday games when there are some, Tuesday games, Friday games, and then a handful of Saturday games. And I dropped a couple of early NFL opinions on the Sunday card. We'll do that again. It was a fun show. It was well received. A lot of people liked it. Hitting the Books is back starting next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be on every Monday. We're looking forward to that. But before then, you can catch me on Betting with the Bag with Jimmy the Bag. Back on my usual Friday later this week at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Beautiful. Yes. I assume I'm producing the show, so it'll be a lot of fun. We did it big last time, me, you, and Connor. You guys obviously are the gurus of college football. I just make my biased UTSA and Oklahoma State takes. And luckily, UTSA led me to a lot of money last year. So shout out to them. All right, Ian, it was a whole lot of fun today. And it always is when you come around. Another reminder, the Cappers contest and the Survivor Pool are live right now. You can sign up today. We talked about the deadlines for those. For both of those, it's going to be this first Saturday of the NFL weekend. I should say the first Saturday before week 1, excuse me, is going to be the sign up lock date. Your spreads lock on Wednesday, and then your picks are due on Saturday before 9 p.m. Eastern. I believe that goes for both of these, the Survivor Pool and the Cappers League. So yes, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And just a reminder, if you're going to bet on the Thursday night football game in that, you have to submit all your picks as well. So it is going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of fun, and more announcements coming soon. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for hitting the books again, and I'm excited for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Not applicable on the Boston money line. It is going to hurt my feelings a little bit if the Red Sox win today and I have Pirate money, but it's all right. It is all right because we're still going to have a winning day.
10 a.m. Saturday show is back too. I forgot to mention that. Starting Saturday, August 27 would be the first one because that's the first Saturday of college football. 10 a.m. Saturday morning college football kickoff show. Same crew, me, Connor Mack, Big Ragu, DJ Big Boss. We're looking forward to that. And we're not going to go past 2 hours because we've got live betting college football on the channel right after. So we're going to be a little less long-winded this season on the show. We'll be out of there by 2 hours by noon Eastern, but we'll get through as many of the Saturday games as possible every week, and it'll be fun. That'll be your pre-game show, if you will, before the big college football slate every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, starting August 27th. College football Saturday morning kickoff show.
Beautiful. That also reminded me, another reminder. I've said this a couple times. I am going on a beach trip next week from the 26th to the 28th. So the 26th, 27th, and 28th.
10 a.m. Eastern, Kevin. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific.
Good call out.
The show will be.
Good call out.
No, I ain't getting up at 7 a.m. Eastern. No, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Yep.
No, that'd be crazy. Shout out to you, Kevin, for asking, though. But so I will not be doing a show I will probably not be doing a show the 26th, 27th, and 28th. It is a weekend. I understand. I'm sorry. I love all of you still. We'll see if I can do the mobile remote shows, but I don't know exactly how that shit works. So shout out to everyone as always. And thank you for watching throughout this whole year. The ups and downs are here. We've gone through them. Hopefully the ups are coming now, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Hey, Ian, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a great episode, and we appreciate everyone for watching. I'm going to end the show with the Cappers contest video one more time so people remember. Sign up today at pubsportsradio.com. Ian, the views were lovely. Finish that beer. Go ahead, finish that beer, Ian. Finish it right now. Yeah, get in there, Ian. Get in there. We need it. Pub Sports Radio,
there we
baby.
Go.
Get
now
in
time
there.
for another.
And another. Let's have it.
We at Pub Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, you'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a Cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to host the victors and roast the losers. The Cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.